Okay, so left-hand one was your before, right-hand one now is your after. So what we're talking about, obviously, the club face position. As your club went back, you can just see that almost like that sort of rolling with your hand and the elbow pulling away here now. And the club now is disappeared. So the club head now is here before it gets level with the hand, and the next frame now it's kind of here. And then when it kind of gets level, it's just basically behind you here now. So at this point here now, you can almost see the back of your left hand kind of just really full, the elbow kind of pulling up there and stuff. So that club face now way behind you and then obviously opened up. Then you've got to make some serious adjustments to fix that on the way down. Now, because the club has gone behind you, when you get here now, you are quite flat. Yes, you're quite cut with the wrist there, but you still swung quite flat. And how you've got there is kind of a mix and match of kind of this and then that, yeah? So you're feeling that wrist position, but it's not then, oh, I will try and bow the wrist, because then what will happen is you'll then start bowing it and it'll get even more behind you. Then you start getting snap hooks, yeah? Because if you're closing that club face any more than what that club face is there and you're that flat, you would hit some snap hooks for days, yeah? It'd just be way through your left foot, okay? So the feeling now on this right hand one is the wrist is going to be almost pushing down. So as we go back here now, there's the club head, yeah? That's in a much better window, and it feels like the club's out here somewhere when you do it, but in reality, then we get to the top of the backswing here now, your left arm now is a little bit higher. I'd like to see, I think long term, your left arm a little bit more up here. Okay. A little bit more upright with that down, with that back, okay? As you then come back in the golf ball, good angle back in the golf ball, nicely on plane as you come back into hitting area here now.
I feel like,
and then release.
Yeah, I feel like I stand up a bit.
When you say stand up through the golf ball, yeah?
Well, my head kind of comes up rather than staying down.
Yeah,
it comes up.
The one thing I say, never try and keep your head down.
Well, isn't it like what I mean is like I feel when I get to impact, I'm doing that rather than doing that.
No, we don't want that second one. You want to explode up through the shot and stand up.
When you look at the
never,
balls,
no, you never look at the ball. Don't keep your head down. There's three myths in golf. Keep your head down, keep your left arm straight, slow it down, and try and. I think the last one you just said there, yeah?
Yeah.
Your head, the image that you see, you've seen a McIlroy here kind of in that position. Right?
Yeah.
He's swinging that club head 140 mile an hour. If his head tried to catch it, he'd break his neck. So he's not keeping his head down. It's just been overtaken by a golf club swinging at a hell of a rate of knots, yeah? So we don't want to try to keep things down, get under it. Because if we then, how are we going to try and turn your body? I mean, if I said you keep your head down, you'd be in a lot of pain very quickly. So never.
That's what you're happy
absolutely
with that.
Fine. Yeah, no, I don't know about. Yeah, I want. In some ways, I want your body to hit to sort of use the ground to kind of push up out of the shot. So we want to see kind of here. We get there, you're down here, and then from there, up for the gut. We don't want to see kind of. Doing that because you're going to get no power and no speed at all. So yeah, we never want to stay down through the shot too long. And what we're trying to do is get your kind of bad shot, as we said, to be that kind of, I suppose, feel. And generally speaking, I think from a good player's perspective, this is what Tiger always had. Tiger even said recently in this sort of video, his fairway finder was that necky cut. Yeah, it didn't go very far. It doesn't look the prettiest shot in the world. But it finds fairways. Yeah. The toey hook is destructive. The hooky one's always a bit of a disaster because if you start hooking it, you then got to start ending way right with like a big old sling, and you hit the ball a long way. Yeah. So if your stock drive goes, we'll say 240 to 255 ish. Obviously, some fairways at Southern could go 300, but the standard normal fairway conditions that you're going to play on. If your necky cut goes 225 or 220, and you've got like a 6-iron the green, not an 8-iron the green, but it's a shot to the green. You're going to score, aren't you? Yeah. It's when you're in that shot that sort of hooks way in the gorse somewhere into bushes or trees. So,
and with that swing change, the lower tee playing the fairway find a little.
Yeah, probably find it a bit easier. Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't have to try to cut it, so to speak. You just make a normal swing. Yeah. I think what you'll generally find when the club stays out more in front of you, there's a much more connection with your elbows here. Now we're not getting that sort of splaying out with the elbows as you go back. Just a much better movement there now. The club is working a bit on a steeper angle, so I'd like to get that club a little bit higher, which I think in time will happen once that wrist hinge is there. But that's the swing thought, and thought as in singular, not plural. You're here now, just pushing that, almost like you're doing that. If I said you had a hammer and you were going to hit the ground, you would just push down with that wrist, and that's what would send the club face up. So what you had before was kind of, you see that right elbow now sort of pulling the club back this way, almost like this elbow's pulling, and you sort of got this sort of motion going, kind of like, and then your arm has to go out stuff. So you've got a lot of disconnect there now. Club's not really working in line with where it wants to go, and once that club's behind you here now, you can sort of see that left hand is very much sort of folded round this way. It's just
lots of trouble ahead.
Well, you just got to be really reliant on timing. As I said, physically, when you play a game of golf, you are going to change. So if you're reliant on timing, it's very difficult to be consistent, yeah, because the timing is literally like millimeters from one to the other. I mean, the speed you're swinging that golf club, 100 mile an hour getting towards, I'd imagine, but 85, 90, probably maybe 95 with that ball speed at the last one there. Yeah, if you're relying on that club face just for impact being like, and then after impact doing that, the face could be in any sort of direction, left or right. And then if you add into that was obviously wind and stuff on certain golf courses, it's going to have a lot of spin. So yeah, get that club working more in front of you here, so you're pushing down that wrist there.
Could I hinge it a little bit more than that?
Oh yeah, of course you could. Yeah, but look at the difference in the elbows. Are they a bit more close together? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the arms pulling away from the body there, and this elbow sort of pulling back toward the back of your jumper there. So rather than being another connection here and just this way, you've gone.
Yeah.
And that just lends itself to a lot of inconsistencies in terms of strike and direction. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Right.